Hey everybody, welcome to Pastor's Perspectives. Let me know if this is working. We're still trying to take out the little glitches here and there, but I'm between two guys here. I got a Don and a Dan, and the only difference is the middle letter of their first name.
That's right.
There you go.
That's the only difference we have.
That is the only difference.
So, well, guys, one of the big things we've been doing in the last since we've been doing Pastor's Perspectives, a lot of Sundays we've been focusing kind of just on correcting my bad theology and needing to fix some of the broken things that have been going on. So,
Are the lashes healing?
I would love to hear your perspectives on kind of where what you felt was happening this morning in the church related to the message of covenant, related to the message of for me it's a big part of it is us making sure that we're the church that we are called to be. And so I'd love to hear you guys' perspectives, and we kind of go from there. Any ideas or thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, I think when you said covenant and you described covenant, I thought you did a really good job of explaining that covenant's not a contract.
That's right.
Because contract, one person breaches the contract, well, it's over. But a covenant, is you're bound. And that's powerful. And the whole you went back to the illusion of was it Abraham and the two halves of animals and that kind of business. I think that something that always impressed me about that story, about the covenant that God made with Abraham, is when the person walked through. I'll let Don explain this because theologically he'll get it all right. But when that person walked through the halves of the animals, he was saying, may what happened to what if I screw up, if I break this covenant, may what happened to these animals happen to me, right?
Well, and that's a piece of our interpretation of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think really what the symbology is as we are engaged in a promise.
Mm-hmm.
And literally that's part of the significant difference between a contract and covenant is if you think about the idea of people making a promise.
Mm-hmm.
If I make a promise to you, it's not contingent upon anything that you're doing. I'm just telling you, Dan, I'm promising
I'm
this.
doing this, right.
And the animal that's being separated there is symbolizing that, hey, here are two halves of one.
Mm-hmm.
That it's incumbent upon each who are separate entities
Mm-hmm.
to participate in this one thing that we call a covenant.
Right.
And that while independently, you can promise something, a covenant is basically something that is one. And the idea of them walking through this together symbolizes that they are now in the middle of something that's one.
Mm-hmm.
And even when we talk about this idea in marriage, where God talks about two becoming one.
Right.
And that really is the idea of
Right.
God's covenant with us, is that he has made these promises to us, and we literally are responding to him with a promise.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense.
Well, in those pictures, the two people were supposed to walk through.
Yeah.
And in marriage, when I do marriage counseling, I remind the couple, this is a covenant. When one of you messes up, the other one doesn't get to go away. Mm-hmm. You fulfill your end of the covenant.
Yes.
And if you mess up, the other one doesn't get to go away because they've promised to fulfill their covenant. It's not contract. And I think the beautiful thing about when God did that whole thing with Abraham, he passed through, but he didn't allow Abraham.
Yeah.
So right there, to me, when he says physically to us, I'm going to fulfill this, whether you mess up or not.
Right.
And that's really powerful.
Yeah. And actually, when you go back to the idea of in marriage, when he says the two become one flesh,
Mm-hmm.
that this is a very important concept of
Yep.
covenant. That we are in this together.
Right.
That
Well, and look at your word, one.